Welcome back. This is another important concept in Java. Loops. Loops is in every programming language. And similarly, it is also in Java. So why we use loop? For example, Facebook want to send New Year message to every user of the Facebook. Now there are 3 billion users of the Facebook. Let's think that in order to send this, if Facebook write 3 billion lines of code, how much time it would take? That's why we have the concept of loop, to avoid the same iterations or same repetitions. So what loop does? It execute multiple times for a same statement by little bit difference we can do. So what Facebook can do, Facebook can send Happy New Year message to the every user of Facebook by iterating through 3 billion users of arrays of users by just changing its index number. You will know about the arrays and index in the next lecture, so don't worry. So let's look how loops work. Well, this is the syntax of loop in Java. It consists of 3 parts. The first one is initialization, then semicolon, then condition, then semicolon, then increment or decrement. Plus plus is known as increment operator. Minus minus is known as decrement operator. It is just like x is equal to x plus 1 or x is equal to x minus 1. Now, what this loop will does, it will iterate until condition is true, means until or unless x is smaller than 20. So first of all time x is 0, it will check that if x is smaller than 20, 0 is smaller than 20, and then it will go and display x, means 0, alright. Output is wrong, it starts from 0, okay, not from 1. And then it go back and increment once, and then after that check the condition. Now x is 1, 1 is smaller than 20, it will print the 1 as you can see it below. And like that it will go until or unless it is smaller than 20, means by incrementing every time each number. So once it hits 20, then the loop will stop. So the result would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 till 19. So this is how loop works. Now let's take a look to the IDE, that how we can use the loop in Java. So let's jump into it right now. So let's implement loops. So we start from for loop. Now I'm gonna make the modification of the previous program, the even and odd number. Now in that particular case, what I'm gonna do is basically I'm gonna enter a numbers, 10 numbers, and the program will check that enter 10 numbers is even or odd each time. So as I show you the syntax of that, we have a for, and then first of all we have to initialize it. So initialization start from 0, and then x should be smaller than particularly we're gonna go to the 10, since the basically we can start from 1. Why should we start from 10? It doesn't make sense. So x should be smaller than equal to 10, all right, and x plus plus. So there we go. Now this is loop, and if I print out the x, let me show you what's gonna happen. The 10 numbers will be printed on screen. So let me show you. So it's compilation. Yeah, it is. So yeah, as you can see, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So just writing a single line of code, it is executed 10 times. This is what the work of number. So if you still don't understand this x plus plus, let me show you. It is equal to x is equal to x plus 1. So it is just an increment to 1, all right? So this is it. So I will enter a number, and the number should be entered by the user. So we're going to say that enter any number, please. All right, enter any number, please. So system.out.println enter any number, please. And then we're going to say store the number into the num.
So amber scanner dot next int, like that. And then we're going to check that if a number is even or odd. So you might remember that number remainder 2 is equals to 0. Then we're going to say odd, not so odd but even, sorry, even. And else, I'm again and again making this mistake, you don't need to put this parenthesis, all right, if there is one single statement. If there is multiple statement, you need to, but for a single you don't need to, all right. This is the beauty of the programming that make it for more easy for use, all right. Yeah, so now let's run that program right now. So we're gonna check this 10 times. So how many numbers are there? Let's see. So we're gonna say that enter any number please. So 2 is even, 1 is odd, 2 is even, odd, even, odd, even, odd, even, odd, even, and that is it. So 10 times. So this is how you can use for loop. Now, why should we use for loop instead of while loop? Well, what is while loop? While loop is just like a for loop, but in while loop we don't need to put so much stuff. We just need to stuff like any condition. We need to put only condition. So if the condition is true, it will run. So let's make a variation of it, like enter the number until or unless the number is greater than 0. So if you enter 0, then what should happen? The program should stop. So if you enter 0, okay, now what we're gonna do here? Now if we enter 0, so the program should stop. So if number is equal to 0, then is not equal to 0, by the way, is not equal to 0. This is not equal to, okay, this is not equal to, this is the operators, equal to, not equal to, greater than equal to, smaller than equal to. One number is not equal to, okay, we're gonna say enter any number please. So enter any number please. So if someone enter the number, same thing should happen. This, all right. We gotta store this here, and let's put it just over here, all right. But we need to this is the comments, all right. This is the comments. I think I talked about the comments before. So now if I entered number 0, then what happened? It would stop, all right. So let's run this program now. So since number should not be equal to 0, so I assign a 0, so we should modify this. We should put -1, okay. There should be some value. Let's do store. All right, so now we're gonna say that enter in number please. So if we put 0, then it says even. And how the number can be even? Now number remainder 2, which means that 0 remainder 2, which doesn't make sense. So we can replace that, okay. We can say 2 remainder number. So let's check now. All right, so we can say 0. As you can see now, it's giving us error that you cannot take the remainder of 0. All right, this is it. So we can do this, solve this problem. So like that, we have sometimes problems since as a 0 number is 0, so that's why it shows it's an even number. Well, it's still confusion that 0 is even or odd, but it says it's even because 0. So for that purpose, it stopped. The while is working, but what is the problem? The problem is that it's a precondition, not a precondition, but a post condition. So first of all, we need to get the value, then it should check, then again it should check. So we need something for the precondition. So that's why we use do while. So here while is not working because we should know already there should be some precondition. So if there is any precondition, then we can use. So what we can do two things. One, we can use do while loop, and another thing, we can take an input outside of that, just like that. So once we need to put a value over here, and once we need to put a value over here. All right, so now let's check. Now it would work perfectly. So if I enter 2, so even 2 even, it will work unlimited time until unless you put 0. So once we put 0, process end. That's how while is working. I think the time is too much, but let me explain a do while loop. So what do while loop does, while is a post condition. There is, first of all, while is not a post condition but a precondition. So first it check, then it execute. But what do while is a pro condition. So if we copy the same thing and we convert it into a do while, so guess what happened? In do while, this is the syntax. You need to put out this. So we need to put out of this particular thing, and we can say do, and there. So let's check what will happen now. I just convert it into a do while loop. So enter a number please. So I said 2, enter a number please, 0. This is it. What's happening? Because once we enter the number, then it will check. So second time if enter 0, it's working perfectly, which I expected. Now if first time if I enter 0, it show even, because this is a post condition. First of all, it will execute, then it will check. In that particular case, first we check, then we execute. So I think this is enough for this lecture. We learn about for loop, while loop, and do while loop. In for loop, we have initialization, condition, increment at one place. In while and do while loop, we have initialization and increment or decrement, but not at first place, but inside of the loop. So while loop is a precondition loop, and do while loop is a post condition loop. We have another loop for each loop, which we will discuss in a lecture. So see you in the next lecture.